Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers in a pumpkin patch? Perplexing.
It's art time with Mr. Mayberry. Let's get busy.
Welcome to Art Time with Mr. Mayberry. We've been discussing the elements of art, the basic building blocks that artwork is made out of. Today we're going to use another one of those elements, space. And I'm going to show you some tricks on how you can create space within your picture. We're going to be drawing a picture of a pumpkin patch. So let's get started. It's time to make some art. Okay, today I'd like you to have your paper the horizontal way. You will need not only a paper but a pencil and something to color with. I use colored pencils to finish mine off, so you might consider that. I'll show you my example when we get finished with me showing you how to draw this. Now, I'm not going to show you all the steps in what we're drawing today, but I do want to get you started and show you the basic concepts and then allow you the freedom and to expand and come up with ideas of your own as well. Okay, so what we're drawing is a pumpkin patch. If you've ever been to a pumpkin patch, it's a neat experience and it's also a neat thing to see. I'm going to start off by drawing the horizon line across the back, so I come down away from the top. It's not an exact science, but I'm going to go about this far, and it doesn't have to be a perfectly straight line either, but just all the way across. And what this does, this creates a place within our picture, and everything up here is the sky, everything below this is the ground. So it kind of starts us off in setting up where things will go. Now, so placement is going to be one of the important things. Things that are down low are going to be things that are closer to us. Things that are up higher, closer to the horizon line, or closer to the horizon, are farther away. And so just automatically by putting something at the bottom or putting it up here, we know where it's at. Is it close up or is it far away? So that's the first thing, is placement. Let's go ahead and I'm going to draw in a little bit back here on the horizon. And the way I've drawn my picture today is to put like there's a row of trees back here where all you see is the greenery. So this is just kind of a rough edge, and there's no set design or pattern, but you just have different, it's just kind of like almost like clouds, just a sketchy line that this shows us that this is greenery back here. This is the tree line. This is the top of the trees. And so you'll have just a rough shape, and it doesn't have to look exactly like mine, just so that you have kind of a rough edge to it, and that it does have some variation. It changes from tall to short all the way across the back. Now the underside of that, this is more like it's bushes or something like that, but it's the same kind of thing. It's just going along the horizon line, so it keeps pretty true to the horizon line. It's pretty right alongside it, but it's kind of a rough edge line. So this will all be kind of greenery here in the back. Now, I realize in the fall you don't have as much greenery. It could be different colors as well. You could have the foliage as the leaves change. You could have oranges and yellows and all that kind of stuff going on in the coloration of this in the background. So that kind of sets us up with a place here. This is farther away, and then this is closer up. And I'll give you an example of how I did the sky after a little while too. Now, for the placement of the pumpkins, I'm going to start off with some that are really close. I mean, really close. And you don't see the whole pumpkin, it's so close. But here's going to be one right about here. I'm just kind of sketching out a curve where this pumpkin will sit. And so this is another thing. Things that are close up are going to look larger. They're at the bottom, but they also look larger. And so that's that one. Now this one you do see the whole thing. It's not quite as close as this first one, but it's still pretty close, but it's not as close as the other one. So you can see the whole thing, but it's large. Then I'm going to put a third one right about here, and I'm sketching all these out lightly. I'm going to be changing the shape just a little bit, but I'll try to make them dark enough where you can see them in this video. Okay. Now, I'm going to kind of set out where some of the ones are in the background. And I'm not going to do the complete amount right now, but I want to give you the idea that as things go farther away, they go up higher, and they also get smaller. So maybe there's a cluster of pumpkins behind this one, and they're a little bit smaller than what we've got here. Also, something else that's happening here that I haven't mentioned yet is something we call overlapping. Things that are in front, you can see all of that, except like this case where it goes off the page. But you can see there's nothing blocking it. But now, as you go farther back, you'll have something called overlapping, where the things are in front, you can see. The things that are behind, you don't see all of them. You see most of them, maybe. Like here with this one here, you can't see the parts where this covers it up, because this is closer. This one's closer and this one's closer. So it makes it look like there's depth, like it goes back in space, like this is farther away, because this looks like it's behind these. So it's another thing you can do. So far we have placement, where things are on the page. We have size, the bigger things in the front and larger things in the back. And then we also have overlapping. And those three things alone can create a sense of space or depth within a picture. And that's D-E-P-T-H. That means how deep something is, how far it looks like it goes back into space. So that's depth. I can put some over here. If you get a chance to see pumpkins out in a field like this, they seem like they're in clumps. They're all right close together, and then maybe there's some wide spaces in between. Just depends on how many pumpkins there are in the orchard or in the patch. It's not really an orchard, I don't guess, but in the pumpkin patch in the field. Okay, so they get smaller. Now if you have some that are way far away, they're going to be a lot smaller in size. Still have the same things going on, overlapping, things like that, but they look a lot smaller. So close up, large, medium, a little bit smaller for the middle area, and then far away they're going to be tiny. They're going to be little bitty. Now, how do you finish these pumpkins off? I'm going to show you how to finish a couple different ways you can finish them. We're going to put a stem up here at the top, so I'm going to put a curve where the base of the stem is. I also have a video on how to draw a pumpkin. Now, you can use that kind of a pumpkin if you want. That one's a little bit more like a gourd in shape and design. This is more like a true pumpkin, because they're more round usually than they are wide. But this is just a way you can do the basic design of the pumpkin. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean this part up, erase inside of it, because the stem is not made out of glass. I can't see through it, so we have to erase inside of that. Okay, and then the stem itself will have these lines where, if you've ever seen one, where the vine is kind of twisted, and so you get these really cool looking lines and edges on the stem. Okay, so there's a stem. It's broken off. You could also do these with the stem still attached, and then you have like cords running different places where it's all growing together. This is the one I'm showing you. This is like they've already broken off from the vine, and they're just sitting out in the field. Okay, then I'm going to draw lines for the divisions on the pumpkin. I'll curve out from this stem. That's the way I would do it, is to curve out. Now, on the left side, they curve towards the left. On the right side, the lines curve towards the right. And then that makes it look even more 3D, more rounded. Okay, so you would do the same thing for all the pumpkins. Now, most of the pumpkins are going to have their stems up. They're sitting on the bottom of the pumpkin, and they'll have the stems sticking more or less straight up. But every once in a while you get a pumpkin on its side, so I want to show you how to do that. In my final drawing, I didn't do it with this one, but I'm going to use this one because it's closer to us. But what you would do then is to draw the stem going sideways. Okay, so it kind of curves off here to the side, and then you could see the top of the stem here. Now, on this one, the top of the stem, you see that at an angle up here. This is the same kind of thing, only it's going sideways. But because this is in the center, it's going to look different than this one. Okay, so I'm going to make lines here where the stem twists, just like that. And then I'm going to kind of go out, almost like spokes of a wheel, go out here. Or a beach ball, actually that might be a better example. If you ever see the stripes on a beach ball, they look more like this. So they're kind of radiating out from the center, curving out from the center. And then instead of having just a straight circle all the way around, I'm going to break this into segments between these lines. So these are going to have separate curves between each of these lines. Okay, so this would be a pumpkin on its side. Now again, if you have a pumpkin near you, you can actually look at it from different angles, and that might give you ways to make more variation out here in the field where not all the pumpkins are exactly the same all the way across. You could look at it from different angles and then get an idea of how to draw the pumpkin from different angles. So a lot of times when you draw, it is good to have something in front of you to look at, an actual object of what you're drawing. It might help you to understand how it should look better when you draw. Okay, so these are basic things. Now, again, this could be a daytime sky. You could be a nighttime sky. Something else with color, and I'll let you see here in the final one that I've done. I want to show you this example. This is one that I did earlier to show you what you can do. And I have the same three here at the beginning, and then I've made a cluster of pumpkins right here, and then some right across here, and they get really small as they go back here. Something else you can do is things that are closer to us are going to be darker in color. The color's darker. Things that are farther away, as things go farther away, they look lighter in color. So that's something else to think about when you're trying to create this space within a picture. And one other thing would be the detail. Things that are close up, you can see the details. If you look at something from across the field, you're not going to see all the divisions and lines. You're going to see maybe a shape, like in this case an orange shape for the pumpkin, but you would not see all the details, all the cracks and lines in the stems, and you wouldn't see where there might have been a little hole that a bug chewed into a pumpkin or whatever. You wouldn't see all the details when it's farther away. So also, those are two other things. Color, brighter in the close up, lighter farther away, and then also details up close, and then less details that goes further back. Now I've made a nighttime sky with mine. I made some clouds and a full moon, and then finished coloring it in. So this is my finished project of this, and yours will look a little bit different probably, but just so you have the idea of creating that space within the picture, that's what I'd like you to accomplish with this project. So this is our project for today, a pumpkin patch. Well, that's all for today. If you'd like to show me the pumpkin patch that you've drawn, just scan it and paste it in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.
See you later. Hi, bye.